Hello movie fans, today's video is about an action, sci-fi, thriller movie called The Matrix. It's one of the movies that finally convinced Hollywood that CGI can be used in cinema for more than a few minutes and still be successful. The Matrix is set somewhere in a future where no one wants to be. Humanity made artificial intelligence that can do more than drive cars or suggest videos based on your search history. This AI became strong and self-aware enough and challenged humanity to a fight. We lost, destroyed our planet in the process, and became slaves to the machines. They stored us in aloe vera pods, and turned us into one giant Tesla battery unit. The robots also enabled us to virtually exist inside the Matrix, which is one big dedicated server, where we all live and play Sims with each other. They also made the agents, who moderate and ban any toxic humans, who refuse to follow the machine's community guidelines. We open on a loading screen into the Matrix. The police are about to break into room 303, and arrest Trinity. She is one of the members of the Resistance, who are woke enough to realize this whole simulation is an illusion. Mr. Smith, one of the agents, just got to the scene, and wants to know why the police proceeded to the arrest without him. The lieutenant explains to him that Trinity is just a little girl, and they can handle her. He tells the lieutenant that his men are already dead. And that's exactly what happens. Trinity then speed dials her boss Morpheus, who tells her to make a run for it, because Mr. Smith is about to come and ban her. It turns out both the agents, and the woke humans, have access to GM commands, and can do things inside the simulation others cannot. Trinity is tired of speed running Mirror's Edge, and decides to quit the Matrix. To do so, she needs to get to phone booth 9 3/4. We cut to our protagonist Mr. Anderson, who fell asleep at his desk. He wakes up when he gets notified that his YouTube channel is eligible for monetization. The computer tells him to follow the white rabbit, and right at that moment, some of his clients come knocking on his door. Neo leads a normal life as a software developer, but at night, he is an edgy hacker, who sells 2 megabytes worth of data for $2,000. His clients invite him to party with them, but he doesn't feel like it. He then accepts when he sees one of the girls, with a white rabbit tattoo on her shoulders. We then cut to the 1999's equivalent of night parties. Neo is having none of it, he just stands in a corner alone, and waits for the plot to move forward. Trinity is back, she gives Neo a free therapy session, and tells him it's time to be woke and unplugged from the Matrix. She could have just spoke to him from the computer. He wakes up the next morning late for work and goes to meet his supervisor, who warns him not to be late again, because the company he works for has some high standards. We cut to Neo's high standard cubicle. You can really tell how much he likes his day job. He receives a package containing the 1999's equivalent of a smartphone. He speaks to Morpheus, who tells him that the agents are coming for him, and then proceeds to guide him through the floor. This is one terribly designed AI, if it can't check behind corners, but what do I know? The escape plan is to get to the other side of the building by walking on the ledge, but Neo does what anyone would do and surrenders to the agents. I think they knew the outcome to that situation already, that's why they never bothered to check behind corners, but what do I know? Also, how is Morpheus able to know what's going to happen? And if he was that determined to help Neo out, then why didn't he contact him earlier? Say here. Or here. Back at the precinct, Mr. Smith is impressed with how successful Neo is, with being both a good upstanding citizen and a cybercriminal. He offers him a deal, to help the agents with the Morpheus problem, and in return, have his criminal record wiped clean. Neo refuses and wants his phone call. Agent Smith decides to mute him for being too toxic, and infects him with a virus. He wakes up later that night, again, and gets a phone call from Morpheus, again. They decide to meet up after talking about their feelings for a bit. Morpheus sends an Uber to pick him up. Trinity tells Neo that he's been bugged and needs to be scanned and CC cleaned. Which brings us to today's sponsor, never mind, I don't have any. With the help of her big gun from Ghostbusters, she manages to fix the bug and patch Neo up. We finally get to meet Morpheus.
At last.
They talk about
You're feeling, but you feel it. You felt it, feeling, feel it.
Morpheus offers Neo the choice between 2 Advil pills. The blue one will return him to his normal life in the simulation, or the red one that will unplug him from the Matrix. He picks the red one and they take him to another room to prepare him for his Windows update. Neo is now out of the Matrix. A machine comes up to him, disconnects him, and flushes him down a chute. He gets picked up by Morpheus on his ship. After a long session of acupuncture, he is finally ready for the real world. Morpheus introduces him to the team. Trinity, APOC, Switch, Cypher, Tank, Dozer, and Mouse. They have been drifting along humanity's ruin on that ship, but decided one day to go back inside the simulation and free as many people as they can, so they can join them on their journey, because it's the right thing to do. Morpheus plugs Neo inside the Matrix for a quick tutorial guide. It turns out, you are able to hack yourself back inside the program and mess with its code. You can manifest guns, clothes, pick up new hobbies, even change your wallpaper. Morpheus shows what the real world turned into, but the revelation is shocking to Neo. He refuses to believe any of it, and asks for a refund. To comfort him, Morpheus tells him a bedside story about the One, a superhuman who can do whatever he wants inside the Matrix. The One is basically Aang from the Avatar, but way edgier. Morpheus believes that Neo is the Avatar. Tank shows up to throw even more history lessons at us, and tells Neo about Zion, a city deep underground where free humans live. Cypher, meanwhile, is jealous of Neo, but no one cares. It's about time for our protagonist to go back for some upgrades. Tank uploads Neo's code with gigabytes worth of information on martial arts. He tests his new upgrades against Morpheus, while everyone watches them fight. Morpheus explains to Neo that the secret to succeed inside the Matrix is about knowing, not thinking. Whatever that means. Next up is the jumping tutorial. Neo tries, but fails. Back in the real world, he is surprised he can feel pain and exhaustion, even though he was in a simulation. Morpheus tells him it's still possible to die inside the Matrix. Our heroes gather for dinner next. Today's menu is oatmeal in a can. Cypher, on the other hand, is enjoying steak with Mr. Smith. He offers to betray Morpheus, in exchange for a successful life inside the Matrix. Neo finishes his delicious dinner and is finally ready to go see the Oracle. She is a creation of the machines. Her purpose is to guide humans inside the simulation, but from an emotional side, seeing as the robots only reason with logic. She can also see the future in a way, because why not? Inside her apartment, Neo meets some children with powers who can potentially be the Avatar. He asks the Oracle if he is the One. She gives him a medical check and tells him no. But it's a no that actually means yes. Complicated stuff. She hands him a cookie and sends him out. Cypher, meanwhile, is on full betrayal mode. He contacts the agents to give away his location. Our heroes are on their way out. Neo experiences déjà vu, which according to the Matrix rules, means that the agents are changing the source code of a certain area. They could have used it here, or here. The whole squad is trapped inside the building, but Morpheus quickly troubleshoots the problem and finds a way out, through the building's wet wall. It seems to go well at first, but Cypher can't handle the dust, and starts coughing, alerting everyone in the building to their position. Mr. Smith switches places with the closest SWAT officer, and grabs Neo out of 6 possible people behind the wall. That's a 16% chance. Morpheus doesn't like those odds, and all of a sudden, decides that Neo is the only one that matters, and he's willing to die for him. Let's do some explaining, shall we? Morpheus is not only the captain's ship, but he's also one of the major leaders of Zion City. He has the codes to the city's mainframe computer. And the machines were looking for it for years. Then he meets this person. And after 5 minutes, he's willing to sacrifice his life, and potentially the lives of everyone in Zion City, based on a gut feeling. That's good leadership. Our heroes escape. Morpheus forgets all those lessons he taught Neo, back in the virtual dojo, and gets beaten by Agent Smith. Cypher is on full betrayal mode once again. He decides to leave the Matrix before the others. Grabs a weapon, and shoots Tank and Dozer. He puts the headphones on, and it's time for the villain monologue. He tells Trinity that he loves her, and that real life is too real for him. He prefers the virtual one. Pretty sure the machines would be more than willing to plug him back, if he just asks nicely, but anyway. He unplugs APOC. And moves to Switch, and disconnects her too. And right as he about to do the same thing to Neo, what you know, Tank wakes up, and zaps the living Matrix out of Cypher. Goodbye, Cypher. Back at the agent's headquarters, Morpheus's mind is being hacked into, while Agent Smith explains to us how much he hates our species. Our heroes, on the other hand, are facing a tough choice. Plan A, unplug Morpheus and save Zion. Or Plan B, keep Morpheus alive and risk destroying Zion. They go with Plan B, of course. Storm the agent's headquarters gun blazing, and kill everyone. With the power of backflips, wall flips, side flips, front flips, and terrible aim, they manage to clear the guards on the first floor. The elevators are too slow for Neo, so he finds an even faster way to get to the top of the building. The agents, who know all too well what the woke ones are capable of, decide to do nothing. These programs can change codes at will, mute you, plant viruses, track your whereabouts, but instead, they just sit around and listen, while Neo and Trinity are leaving a trail of bodies everywhere they go. They finally decide to intervene. Neo shoots the agent, but he dodges every shot. The agent shoots back, but Neo dodges too. Trinity is tired of these two flailing around, and shoots the agent point blank in the head. Look, it's a helicopter. And it's time to fly one. Trinity asks to have the necessary flight hours downloaded to her brain, and off we go. They fly the helicopter to where Morpheus is being held, and Neo decides that the safest course of action is to point a minigun straight at Morpheus and spray no idea how many bullets per minute that thing shoots. The whole room is destroyed. But Morpheus is alive. Neo pep talks him to get up and run as fast as he can, jump from a skyscraper into a flying helicopter, despite being drugged and weakened. And it works. Morpheus sobers himself up because he can, breaks the handcuffs because he can, and starts running towards the window. The agents are not done yet. They come up to the room, but instead of going inside and getting a clear shot, they decide that only one of them should shoot Morpheus through the wall. They manage to shoot him in the legs, but it only slows him down, instead of outright dropping him to the ground. Neo tries to help him out and jumps to catch him mid-air. Agent Smith, who couldn't shoot a man running from a few feet away, is suddenly able to shoot the engine of a flying helicopter. But Trinity is too good of a pilot, and still flies everyone out of harm's way. Our heroes go to the nearest exit to disconnect from the Matrix. But instead of getting out immediately, they waste just enough time talking about random stuff, so Agent Smith can possess a homeless man and catch them. Only Morpheus and Trinity manage to disconnect, which leaves Neo on his own versus the agent. They start fighting with guns, and realize they can't do much harm to one another. So they decide to fight with fists. If these two can dodge bullets, then how are they able to land punches on each other to begin with? Neo beats the agent by slamming him against the wall, and letting him get hit by a passing subway. The machines also made the call earlier, to go after Morpheus's ship in the real world, with the help of the Sentinels. Neo is running around the city, looking for the nearest exit. The agents finally decide to get serious with him, but not serious enough to shoot him when he's right in front of them. The Sentinels in the real world have located the ship and are starting to destroy it. Neo finally gets to the exit room, but as soon as he opens the door, Agent Smith shoots him in the chest. The end. However, Trinity does not agree. The Oracle once told her that she would fall in love with the One. And since she is in love with Neo, then there is no way he is dead. She kisses him, and he's magically brought back to life, thanks to the power of love. But he is different now. He gained new perspective after his sure death experience. He can stop bullets, has code vision, and can fight an agent with one hand, without even looking. And if that's not enough for you, the new Neo can even jump inside of you, and destroy you from the inside. The other agents just give up and run away. Neo disconnects right before the Sentinels are about to ruin the entire ship. Morpheus sends an EMP blast destroying everything. We cut to Neo talking to the machines. He vows to destroy them and free everyone inside the Matrix. The end. For real this time. I hope you enjoyed my take on this movie. More critical recaps are expected as soon as I find myself willing to waste hours sifting through footage and coming up with a script. Thank you all.